I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little nervous for this set. I've had 275 for 20 in my mind throughout today, and now that it's a reality, I'm feeling some nerves. I just took this for a single. I don't know that it's gonna happen for 20, but I think I'm gonna try to go for it. The hands are feeling shaky. Stomach's not feeling all that great either. Halfway through the warm-up, I had to go inside and make a trip to the bathroom. I think I got some nerves going over this set. If you're not getting, scared of your workouts or, nervous about certain sets, you ain't training hard enough, man. But I may just take this for 10 and, that be the top set for today and try to focus on a little more recovery. But, Jeez. I burnt out quick there. I think that was 10 reps. I don't know. 20 definitely was not in the tank for tonight. I guess I'll take that for another set of 10 probably. And at least a set of 5. Call it good there. And I squat beltless too. For any of those that wonder, I never squat with a belt. I used to 3 or 4 years ago when I first started dabbling in with squats, but at that time I was squatting parallel, low bar, and with a belt. I don't feel very good. Take this for another set of 10. Realistically, I could probably do a 3x10 tonight, but I'm just not going to. I'm trying to be smart here. Part of me wants to, but then another thing, the fire isn't all there tonight, considering I feel a little jittery, and I think it was nerves coming into this session, but it's also 10:30, and by the time I download this probably 20-minute video off of my editing app, it'll it'll be after 11 before I get into bed tonight. Well, after 11 probably. And then I get up at about 5:15 in the morning, 5:15 in the mornings. So probably be about 11:30. You can turn around, get back up at 5:15 and go to work tomorrow. All right. Catch you guys tomorrow. We were working in a barn today, and I had got a lot of dust directly into my eyes, and for probably 10 or 15 minutes, my eyes were, super puffy, like swelled up, red as all get out, itching and burning for, like I said, probably 10 or 15 minutes. Then they settled down, but I've kind of had a headache for the rest of the day, just because it was kind of dusty there. And my eyes still feel like they have that puffiness, like I still feel like weight on the front of my face. Eyes are just kind of heavy. So I came home from work and took a shower and then took like a 45-minute nap. And I don't know how the training session is going to go for tonight. I would like to go 275 for 20, but I'm very, very tired right now. I did not want to get out of bed this morning. I don't know, I'm feeling fatigued. But that's to be expected. I'm trying to push running. I'm trying to, push squats. I have a goal of squatting every day, and the main reason behind that is for like the mental benefits and the way it reflects in my daily life outside of training. Just the levels of discipline and commitment that this calls for of me. If you can commit to something daily, it sort of shows in your day-to-day life, and I think it reflects a lot in other areas of my life and a lot of the decisions I make. It seems that actions of discipline, consistency, and commitment are like a thing of habit now. I don't like to go halfway in on something, and I've been down this field before. But I wanted to get into something tonight that is should be a larger part of my life than training. Oh, wait, back to the squat everyday thing. So I have this goal of squatting every day, obviously, but within that goal, I have a desire to squat the heaviest weight that I can, either a 20 rep max, a 10 rep max, or a 1 rep max. I understand that a lot of people tell me that squatting every day is not the best way to maximize your squat potential. But if I was concerned necessarily about foregoing everything else just for the sake of squatting heavy weights, then I'd hop on gear. I'd find a different job that doesn't demand so much of me physically. I would do all of these things to have the heaviest back squat that I possibly could. But it's just not a realistic thing for me to do that. And so, with that being said, I want to squat every day, and within that goal, within the parameters of squatting every day, I want to have the biggest back squat possible. And that's on top of being a well-rounded athlete, still maintaining upper body size and functionality, and being in, good cardio shape, having, a pretty big gas tank. So with that being said, I don't know. I think I would like to see 405 eventually. I think 405 is possible for me, and I would love to reach 405 completely by self-programming. I think that would be very impressive, I've got a 370 pound back squat right now, a 255 bench. Right now, probably like a 365, 370 pound deadlift. And I've never ran a program in my life. The closest thing I've ever done to a program is push-pull legs. But I've never ran, strict sets and reps. I just come in here and do what I want to do. And, to reach the numbers that I have by going about it that way, completely self-programmed, I'm very happy with that. But I do not think that I have reached, my potential. So we're just going to keep going. But something I wanted to get into is, something that should be a bigger part of my life than training. And, it sort of is. And that's, my title as a Christian and, my relationship with God and all that. And so tonight is Wednesday. So I had a church service tonight. And I'm going to throw up a picture of a little study I did once I got home. My preacher, this was kind of like the sermon that my preacher had preached. Then I made note of a few verses, and then I came home and, just tried to write everything down that stood out to me. And the message tonight is to count your blessings. So I'm going to read through this really quick. If you don't want to hear all this, skip ahead 2 minutes, I guess. But Philippians chapter 4, verse 4, rejoice in the Lord always. And again, I say rejoice. Philippians chapter 4, verse 6, be careful. And the word careful it means to be like worry or be anxious here. So it says, worry for nothing, or be careful for nothing, but in everything by prayer and supplication with thanksgiving, let your requests be known unto God. Chapter 3, verses 7 through 8, but what things were gained to me, those I counted loss for Christ. I don't have verse 8 written down, but you can pull that up on your end. It is recorded that Paul was thrown into prison, beaten, and wronged countless times, yet he never lost his joy for the Lord. I've heard that prisons in this time often had sewage flowing through them, and Paul had lived in one for 2 years. 2 Corinthians chapter 12, verses 9 and 10 tell us that he took pleasure in these persecutions, for then the power and the comfort of Christ has to rest upon him. Then I want to get into peace a little bit. Romans chapter 5, verse 1 says, therefore, being justified by faith, we have peace with God through our Lord Jesus Christ. Then back to Philippians chapter 4, verse 7, and the peace of God, which passeth all understanding, shall keep your hearts and minds through Jesus Christ. And so, my preacher had touched on this, but, it tells us here that we cannot understand God's plan, and the peace of God, which passeth all understanding. All understanding. So we cannot understand God's plan, but we can have the peace of God by having peace with him. The way my preacher put that down is, you cannot go into a situation and have the peace of God without, having peace with him. You first have to have peace with him, and then you can have the peace of God. And so I wanted to go into the section where, Paul was thrown into prisons. It's recorded, multiple times that he was beaten, wronged, accused, persecuted. And, he lived in a prison for 2 years. And I have a very close friend of mine that had gave a sermon. And he said that oftentimes during those times, prisons had sewage flowing through them. And, so you can imagine being down in a dark, damp, musty, probably a cave, almost at this time. It's dark, it's moldy, it's musty. You haven't seen daylight in, who knows how long. And, you've got the city's sewage flowing by you, running through your cell. And the thing that Paul records from that is rejoice always. And that stood out to me today. Rejoice in the Lord always. And again, I say rejoice. And 2 Corinthians 12 verses 9 and 10 told us that he took pleasure in those persecutions, in those infirmities and these different things, because when we are weak, Christ is strong. In times of our weakness, we have to have something to fall back against. And so Paul found great pleasure in those things because he may have been closest to Christ during those hardships. And so right now, the way I'm looking at life, I have the utmost gratification every single day. And it is truly, truly a beautiful thing. It's easy for me to say right now because training is going good, work is going good, I'm building up, a little bit extra money, school is going good. It's easy for me to say that right now. I realize that. But at the same time, I don't want to sound like prideful, but I'm working very hard for all of this. I'm a very blessed individual. There is no denying that. So count your blessings. And I want to say even the second half of last year, training was very, very rough for me. I had the hip injury. Didn't see very any meaningful training for the second half of last year, really. I had went almost 2 months without hitting 315. But at the end of the day, I'm grateful that I can come out here and train. I'm giving the opportunity to train. And, I was given the blessing of today, the opportunity of today. And so I want to capitalize on that. I want to do everything that I can to, kind of grasp what I've been given today. Today is a blessing. And to waste that, it doesn't really sit right with me. So even when training is going bad, I think a bad training period is probably the least of our worries. Paul was living in a prison for 2 years and, had the city's poop water and pee water, probably flowing through his cell. And he found joy in that because he had the peace of God with him. I think that is highly, highly, highly admirable. And that is something that, I feel that I'm starting to search for. I've been, excited to go to church here the past few weeks. I've been pulled towards my Bible a lot here lately. I'm having, a different peace and a different gratitude. And there's not really a better feeling than comfort and, the uttermost gratification that one can feel. So even in the bad times, I guess my lesson for tonight is to, count your blessings, man. You can still get out here. You can still do something. I don't know. I guess I've got out about all I wanted to say tonight. I look back at that, hard training period at the end of last year, and it's easy to look back at that and be dissatisfied and kind of unhappy and, look at that as a negative period. But at the same time, not everybody can come out in their garage and train every day. I think that's that's a beautiful thing that I have the capacity and capability to do. And so I don't want to take that for granted. Do not want to take that for granted, and I'm very appreciative of that. And you know, because I have the ability to do that, I want to do that every day. But with that being said, I'm going to get warmed up. I don't want to hit a big session tonight. It's 9:53 now. I got home and ate, and you know, I could have came out here and hit the workout and you know, went straight to bed, but I needed this right here. So I sat down for 30-45 minutes maybe, just going sifting through my Bible and doing some research and filling out this page, because if I did not get all this out, I was going to be bothered. This was something that, you know, I needed to record so that I can look back upon in the future. So with that being said, I don't want to hit, you know, super big workout tonight. Was having thoughts of 275 for like a 3x5, a 3x8, a 3x10, but I may just try to get warmed up and jump straight into a set of 20 if possible. But it depends. If I get at like rep 8 and I'm fighting hard, I may just rack it and, you know, do like 3 sets of 8 or something tonight. So with that being said, I'm gonna get warmed up and post whatever the top sets are for tonight. So if you've made it this far, I really appreciate you guys watching. Catch you all tomorrow.